Alrighty, guys. Well, Spider-Man Brand New Day looks like it is heading full steam ahead into production, and we're learning more and more about this film as the days go on, which is very exciting. This is the next MCU movie up, and it is the final one coming to theaters before Avengers Doomsday, which looks like it's going to be just a crazy movie. All these things about finished script and not finished script, it looks like they're tinkering with the script. It looks like they are, working on different scenes. They're also keeping it close to the vest. We're not here to talk about Doomsday, but just to quickly address that, because there are so many articles going on about Avengers Doomsday has no finished script and it's crazy and it's terrible. Guys, I think that if the MCU, had been in the same place that it was, like, for example, in Infinity War days, right? If the MCU had been in such a state at that point, and instead of riding the extreme high that was the Infinity Saga, I think people would have been saying the exact same thing. Infinity War doesn't have a script, and Infinity War, the people just weren't given scripts, and people weren't, I think that, yes, Avengers Doomsday is being tinkered with, and I'm sure the ending is being, slowly rewritten, or not slowly rewritten, but slowly, modified and whatnot. I don't think they're writing the script on the fly. Anyways, all that to say, the last film before Avengers Doomsday, though, is Spider-Man Brand New Day. And we're going to talk about Avengers Doomsday because it looks like we have some new set photos. And while I'm not going to show these set photos exactly because I don't want to get in trouble on the YouTube channel, it looks like, based on those set photos, the film is going to be taking place in December 2027. Now, people smarter than I, because I would like to think I'm in the upper echelon of Marvel fans. I don't know if I should take pride or if I should be ashamed of that, but I'd like to think that in terms of the MCU, I'm pretty well versed, but there are people smarter than me who have figured out the exact timeline of what is going on in the current day MCU, because there are a lot of dates being thrown around, and Thunderbolts post-credit scene 14 months later, so people have kind of hashed it out here, and I think it's interesting based on what we've learned from all of this. So signage has been spotted on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which also Tom Holland has teased. He took a selfie, I think, in a dressing room, getting his makeup done, which I think is notable. He was like, hey, something, we're shooting something secret soon. Wonder what that could be, obviously. Could also be Doomsday, by the way. We don't know. Maybe Zendaya and Sadie Sink are going to film all their scenes first, and then Tom Holland's going to swing over from Doomsday to film that. Who knows, right? Who knows? But the signage for Spider-Man Brand New Day is apparently saying December 2027. Why is that significant? Well, that is significant because it seems like, from what people are speculating, conjecturing, and based on previous clues, that Captain America Brave New World took place during 2026 and 2027, which I have a whole lot of questions about that because of presidential election cycles, and when was Thaddeus Ross elected? Did the blip have anything to do with changing the election cycles? Anyways, that's such a nerdy and dumb conversation because it can be whatever it wants. In the MCU, they can have presidential elections every 2 years if they really wanted to, and we just have to deal with it. So all that aside, they're saying Captain America Brave New World takes place between 2026 and 2027. Thunderbolts takes place in 2027. Obviously, Fantastic Four takes place in an alternate Earth, so this timeline doesn't really matter for them, so that's all fine. But then, if Spider-Man Brand New Day takes place in December of 2027, we are going roughly chronologically because, right? That Thunderbolts post-credit scene, while it's not officially confirmed if that post-credit scene with the Fantastic Four ship is exactly, it is going to be shot for shot in Avengers Doomsday, it is taking place around the same time as Avengers Doomsday. And that post-credit scene explicitly said 14 months later. So Avengers Doomsday looks to be taking place around 2028 or 2029. Right? Based on all this timeline shenanigans, which means if this all is to be believed, Spider-Man Brand New Day is officially going to take place before Avengers Doomsday. One big caveat, because I remember this. Spider-Man No Way Home was mostly shot on blue screens based on the fact that of COVID and because they really couldn't do anything without restrictions and without very tight quarantining and stuff like that. But they did shoot a little bit of it outside of the blue screen environment. One scene that they shot in particular was the ending scene where Peter Parker goes to the coffee shop with Zendaya. I remember seeing those set photos of Zendaya at the coffee shop where Peter Parker almost reveals himself to her, and then he doesn't. And that was one of the last scenes in the movie, right? And that doesn't take place concurrently with the rest of the movie. Just because one particular shot or one particular scene takes place in December 2027, that could be the opening of the movie, and the rest of the movie could take place during Avengers Doomsday. So we don't know, because there have been previous reports, and things could have changed, but there were previous reports saying that Spider-Man Brand New Day took place concurrently with Doomsday. Maybe, again, things have changed, right? But just because this one scene that they're shooting right now takes place in December 2027 doesn't mean the whole movie does. So we have to take that into account. But if this entire movie mostly takes place during December 2027, this confirms that Spider-Man Brand New Day is officially now going to be before Doomsday, and that means everything is going chronologically, which means really all of this was much ado about nothing. Maybe one of the reasons they pushed Avengers Doomsday at all is because of this. Maybe they really made a hardline decision of we need Spider-Man Brand New Day just to be standalone. We got confirmation from Kevin Feige that this is going to be street level. So maybe he was like, we need this movie to just stand alone and set up whatever's coming on in Doomsday at the end of the movie. And they were like, okay, well, we need more time to film. Anyways, let's just push it to December 2026 and have that all sorted out. Maybe that was one of the reasons why. But I think this is just so much cleaner, guys. This is so much cleaner. Because they could have done an Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? When Doomsday was going to come out before Spider-Man Brand New Day. They could have done an Ant-Man and the Wasp where, we go back a couple steps in chronology. I just think it's so much cleaner to go, yep, Captain America happens, Thunderbolts happens, Fantastic Four is happening in an alternate universe, Deadpool and Wolverine happening in an alternate universe, and then Spider-Man's happening, and then we get Doomsday. It's just so much cleaner, guys. It's just so much cleaner. So I think this is all good news, and I'm excited. I mean, we're getting set photos, which I don't love to pay attention to every single set photo, but it's kind of inevitable at this stage, and so we'll have to see what happens there. Guys, what do you think of this news that according to set photos and set leaks, I guess, that Spider-Man Brand New Day is taking place at the same time, not at the same time, rather, before Avengers Doomsday? Let me know in the comments down below.